In this video, you will learn how to approach subject-verb agreement questions on both the SAT and the ACT. Although the subject-verb agreement in the English language is pretty easy, I run, she runs, the SAT and the ACT both devised up 3 really tricky ways to make this concept complicated to test. In this video, we will go over those 3 ways and you will learn how to always get those questions right. I'm Kat Severson, the inventor of the Severson method, a scientifically proven way to learn everything fast, including the subject-verb agreement. Before we dive deep into the 3 ways the SAT and the ACT make these questions complicated, I kind of want to give you the background and tell you that these questions are responsible for about 5% of your total writing score. Now that you have an idea for how much of your score these questions are responsible for, let's take a look at what exactly these questions look like. They look something like this. They will include a verb, the same exact verb all of the time, and the answer choices are include, including, and has included. What is the difference? The verb to include will be presented to you in different forms. Singular form, includes, include, plural form, and has included, which is also a singular form, and including, which isn't even a form, that's a gerund. Since this is a subject-verb agreement question, and the verb is given to you in the answer choices, your job is to find a subject. If the subject is singular, then the form is going to be includes. If the subject is plural, then the form is going to be include. Well, I completely trust you guys that you know how to find your subjects, but I also know from the 8 years of tutoring that the grammar is not very well taught in schools all over the world. So I'm going to give you a little test to check whether you know what is a subject. Here's how we'll do. I will give you a sentence, and then I will ask you what's the subject. If you answer it right, we will believe that you know what your subjects are. And if you answer it incorrectly, I'm going to suggest that you watch my video where I talk about what is a subject. So here's your little test. People make videos on YouTube. What's the subject in the sentence? If you said people was the subject, then I'm going to invite you to proceed watching this video. We're going to assume you know how to find your subject. And if you said video, there's no shame about it, but I'm going to highly encourage you to watch this video. I'm going to link it up above. We're also going to create this today about how to identify your subject, what a subject is, and what role it plays in the sentence. Now, for those of you who are proceeding with this lesson, here's another example for you. Katya, to make videos on YouTube. In order to identify the form the verb to make will take in this sentence, we first need to identify the subject. What's the subject? The subject is Katya. And Katya is a proper noun in a singular form. How do we know? Well, try to replace it with a pronoun. She. Whenever we use a pronoun she, what form does the verb to make take? The form is makes. She makes videos on YouTube. So I hope this is pretty straightforward for you guys. You're going to be given the verb and you need to find a subject, and based on the subject, and if you don't know whether the subject is singular or plural, just try to replace it with a pronoun. Then you're just going to make the subject agree with the verb. If this was that easy, everybody would be getting 100% on the SAT and the ACT. But the SAT and the ACT do this thing. They insert fluff in between the subject and the verb. And by fluff, I mean prepositional phrases, relative clauses, additional phrases, appositives, you name it, they're going to insert it in between your subject and your verb. Here's an example. Katya, painstakingly, as a service to her students, makes videos on YouTube. If the verb to make was the verb in question, here's what a lot of students would do. They would look at the noun that is immediately before the verb to make. And that noun is plural. So a lot of students would think, well, students make, and they're going to give this verb a form of a plural noun. However, the subject is Katya, which is a singular, therefore this sentence requires makes. So far so good? Let me show you some real examples from the SAT and the ACT. Here's one. Not all research into original English varieties, the verb is to require, such time, effort, and resources, however. Well, what is your subject? If you said varieties, that is not correct. Interregional varieties is actually a prepositional phrase, and the rule of thumb is that your subject is never going to be a part of a prepositional phrase. So your subject is actually research. Not all research. Research is a singular or is it plural? Well, let's use my trick. Let's try to replace it with a pronoun. Research. It. It requires. Therefore, the form of this verb is going to be singular. Let's take a look at our answer choices. Are requiring, have required, or require. All 3 of those answer choices imply that the subject is plural. Therefore, no change is the right answer. Let me give you another example. This one is from the ACT. Repeated visits to the installation reveal, to reveal is the verb in question, the larger process of decay and transformation. Pause. What's the subject? If you said installation, think again. To the installation would be, again, a prepositional phrase. And like we said before, the subject is never a part of a prepositional phrase. Visits is the subject, and visits is a plural noun. How do you know? First of all, there's an S there, and if you try to replace it with a pronoun, you're going to say they. They reveal. Therefore, the right answer is J. A couple of more examples. At Epidarius, the combination of virtual pitch and the sound dampening effect of the seats. And then to allow is the verb in question. Performances voices to be heard fully and clearly from any seat. By the way, performances voices, that's an apostrophe. We're going to make another video today about apostrophes, so I'll link it up below if this is something, it's an area of confusion for you guys. So let's find the subject. Pause this video and find the subject. If you said the subject is seats, think again. Of the seats is a part of a prepositional phrase. Of virtual pitch and the sound dampening effect. Again, that's a prepositional phrase. So what's your subject? The combination. And the combination is a singular noun. It. It allows. So the right answer is have been allowing, are allowing, allow. All three are plural forms. The only singular form is allows. The next one, again from the ACT, I'm kind of like interchangeably using them. Although you may not be taking one of the tests, the idea is the same. Here, the ACT did like an egregious thing where they separated the subject and the verb with a whole additional phrase that is offset by 2 dashes. So pause this video. Tell me what the subject is. If you said untruths, you're right. And untruths is a plural subject. It's a plural noun. We can replace it with the pronoun they. So they matter. Which answer choice is that? Answer choice D. A couple more examples. This one is a little bit more complicated. So pause this video. What is the subject? The subject is seen at the signing of the Constitution of the United States. How can we replace it with a pronoun? Seen. It. It blends. Although here you have so many different parts. At the signing of the Constitution of the United States. Remember again, a prepositional phrase is never going to be a part of the subject. So the subject is seen. Seen is a singular noun. It. It blends. The answer choice is J. And one last example from the SAT. Question number 43. So pause the video. What's the subject? Success. Success is singular. We can replace it with the pronoun it. It highlights. Answer choice is D. I said at the very beginning that there are 3 tricks that the SAT and the ACT both use to make these seemingly easy questions more complicated. And I invite you to watch my next video to find out what trick number 2 and trick number 3 is. I'll see you there.